Hello and welcome. Thanks for tuning in to another exciting Soaring Spring 2023. This is the Sim Series race number 5. This is our last one of the regular season to seat these players. Next week on March 2nd, we go into playoffs number 1, then we have playoffs number 2, and then it is for the championship. Pilots will start getting cut starting next week, so they have to be on their A game. I am your host, Sour Power, with the YDSC, the Youth Drone Sports Championships. In the production booth, huge shout out to Shy Dragon with Dragon's Eye View Media. And another huge shout out race managing tonight is Eclipse. If you're looking for more information, you can go to fly.youthdronesports.org and we can start teaching you how to fly. We are also sponsored by NCAT, the National Center for Autonomous Technologies, and we're also powered by LeagueOS. If you are looking for an esports team, have one set up, and looking for some awesome free software, you can go to leagueos.gg. That's leagueos.gg. Grab the Discord link, and they will be able to set you up. All right. Without further ado, while you're at it, we are on Twitch, and we are also on YouTube after the 7 days is up with Twitch. But you can go ahead and hit that bell notification, get notified for all of our in real life and sim races. Our next sim race, like I said, will be next Thursday, March 2nd at 6 p.m. Central. And our next 2 in real life races is going to be on March 18th and March 25th. After that, on April 15th is our huge Minnesota State, with YDSC Minnesota State Championships, with some new exciting and fun surprises for all these pilots. If you are in the area, feel free to come out and spectate. It is free. All right. Now, we only have a handful of pilots tonight as they are getting ready for different types of tests and ACTs, everything, midterms, all of that. So what we're going to do is we have 7 pilots tonight. We are going to run them 5 times in their qualifying heat, just like we always do. After those 5 heats, we'll go ahead and total them up. Any tiebreakers, we will run them off, and then they will get seeded into our letter mains, D all the way on to A. And we will go ahead and talk about that when we get there. So right before I introduce these pilots, we are going to go over our series official results points. In 11th place with 45 points is Melon. In 10th place with 83 points is McLovin. In 9th place with 87 points is Eclipse. Then we have in 8th place with 91 points, we have Cyrus. 7th place with 125 points, we have King Lee. With 130 points. In 6th place, we have yourself, number 1. With 135 points. In 5th place, we have Quad Boy. With 142 points. In the number 4 seed, we have Gordo. Number 3 seed with 148 points, we have Boomer. In 2nd place, with 186 points, we have Squirkit. And in 1st place, with 196 points, only 10 points ahead, is Broth. All right, pilots, here we go. Coming in from our first pilot up, coming in from the Academy of Holy Angels, we have Melon. Flying with us tonight, all the way from Wichita, Kansas, we have Quad Boy. Then we have from the University of St. Thomas, we have Broth. Coming in From the Tiny Turbines, we have Eclipse. Then also from the Academy of Holy Angels, we have Gordo. Then from CEC in Colorado, we have yourself number 1. And last but not least, she is a super fast pilot. From the Tiny Turbines, we have Squirkit. All right, pilots, get ready, because we are about to drop it, and we are about to start this epic blade-to-blade racing. Here we go, pilots. Hold on 1 second. Go ahead and lock the room. All right, pilots. Goggles down, thumbs up. Here we go.
I'm not in the right spot.
False start, false start.
I don't know why I'm just stuck on the
All
ground.
right.
Press W.
Is it?
Try to do a false start,
Oh.
Eclipse.
Okay. I think I'm fine now. Yep.
All right, here we go officially. Now that all pilots are ready, we make sure that these pilots are good to go. Things do happen as we are in a computer simulator. All right, pilots, here we go. Goggles down, thumbs up. And we're off. We have Broth with the whole shot, followed by, Gordo takes over for Squirkit. They are trading back and forth as they are coming around this caged madness right here. Try to keep it nice and smooth and fast at the same time. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. We got Broth in first, Squirkit in second, Gordo right now in third, followed by Melon in fourth, Quadboy in fifth, Eclipse in sixth, and yourself number 1. Oh, Broth goes down. Is it enough for Gordo to catch up? Gordo and Squirkit overtakes. Gordo and Squirkit, it's battling side by side. Squirkit in first right now, only about a couple millimeters behind Gordo, followed by Broth in third, Melon in fourth, Eclipse in fifth, Quadboy in sixth, and yourself number 1 in seventh. As they are coming around lap number 2, these pilots are going 3 laps around. Just like IRL, there are no recharge gates. Got Broth overtaken again in first, so we got Broth in first, Gordo in second, Squirkit after the little fumble up going back to third, Eclipse still in fourth, Melon fifth, Quadboy sixth, and yourself number 1 in seventh. Who is going to take P1? Anything can happen as Broth is going up and over. These pilots put in a lot of time and a lot of work. They do fly just like in real life. These are 1S 65mm drones. They are the size of your palm. And the 65mm is from the motor mount to motor mount diagonally, is how we measure them. And Broth takes P1. Still on board, Squirkit in P2, Gordo in P3 right behind. Now it's up between Melon and Eclipse battling it out. Yourself number 1 having a little bit of issues. Quadboy falling a little bit behind. Melon takes 4th. Here comes Eclipse in 5th. Now it's up to Quadboy to keep it together. Nice sizable lead over yourself number 1. With only a few gates to go. Yourself number 1 starting to make up some time right now. And Quadboy takes 6 that time. And here comes yourself number 1 in 7th. So overall that time we have Broth in first, Squirkit in second. Then we have Gordo in third. Melon is in 4th. Then in 5th place is going to be Eclipse. 6th place goes to Quadboy, and 7th place to yourself number 1. and that is after one round. We have 4 more to go to have these pilots get seated into the mains. Also, as you're viewing out there, the hole shot, when I say hole shot, that is from the first pilot from the start pad to the first gate. That is what's considered a hole shot. All right, here we go, pilots. You know I don't like to mess around. I'm a pilot myself. Goggles down, thumbs up. Here we go. Heat 1, round number 2. And we're off. This time with Squirkit with a hole shot, but Broth overtakes first. Squirkit and Broth going back and forth. Broth right now with a little bit of a sizable lead. Squirkit having a little bit of a fumble up. Oh, and Melon takes Squirkit and Gordo. Squirkit going down, stuck on a gate, just like it can happen IRL. So right now we got Broth in first, Melon in second, Gordo in third, Eclipse in fourth, Quad Boy in fifth, yourself number 1 in 6, and Squirkit in 7th. As we are watching these pilots battle it out, Broth still in first, Melon not far behind, about 8 gates, but can catch up at any time. Ooh, Eclipse having a little bit of a fumble up, puts Eclipse going back a little bit. So we got Broth, Gordo, Melon, Squirkit, Quad Boy, Eclipse, and yourself number 1. As they are coming through. This is a course just like if any of you have seen the Sour Cube out there. This is just an elongated version of that. Broth still in the lead, Gordo in second, Squirkit in third, Melon fourth, Eclipse now in fifth, Quad Boy in sixth, yourself number 1 in 7th. And we have Broth just over Gordo, Squirkit in third, Melon trying to finish it out in fourth, Eclipse taking fifth, yourself number 1, few gates, yourself takes 6th, this time over Quad Boy in 7th. So we have Broth. Then this time in P number 2, we have Gordo, Squirkit in third, Melon in fourth, 5th goes to Eclipse, 6th yourself number 1, and Quad Boy this time in 7th. All right, pilots. Here we go. Goggles down, thumbs up. Here we go. Something that's super duper hard to do. These pilots put in a lot of time and a lot of effort, many hours. So these pilots have been doing it for quite some time now. Some have been doing it longer than others. But we got Squirkit overtaking Broth this time. So we got Squirkit in P1, Broth in P2, Gordo P3, Melon P4. Oh, Eclipse has a little bit of a hang up. Squirkit, Broth, Gordo, Melon, Eclipse, Quad Boy, and yourself number 1. As they are on Squirkit, Broth, Gordo, and Melon and Eclipse are on lap number 2. Everybody's on lap number 2 now. Squirkit's still about a gate and a half ahead of Broth. Trying to keep it nice and smooth. Gordo's about 5 gates behind right now. Ooh, Gordo having a little bit of commentator's curse. We got Squirkit, Broth, Gordo, Melon, Eclipse, yourself number 1, and Quad Boy. A couple of the pilots, only a few laps to go, or a few gates to go, as Squirkit takes P1 over Broth this time to shake things up. We have Gordo in P3. Melon keeps it nice and smooth. Melon can have P4 again. Eclipse in P5. That's between, ooh, and yourself number 1 takes that 6th spot over Quad Boy again. So we have Squirkit P1, Broth, we have P2, Gordo in P3, P4 goes to Melon, P5 goes to Eclipse, P6 yourself number 1, and P7 we have Quad Boy. Alright, pilots. We have 2 more to go before we total them up and see where everybody lands, point-wise. Alright, pilots, here we go. Goggles down, thumbs up. Arm them if you got them. Pilots are pre-arming, meaning they're arming and leaning forward, as we have Squirkit with a whole shot by Gordo and Broth, right? Oh, Broth having a little bit of fumble up. Squirkit with taking P1, yourself number 1 and P2. Then we have Gordo, Melon, Broth. Broth climbing their way back up into P3 right now. So we got Squirkit, Gordo, yourself number 1, Melon, Quad Boy, and Eclipse, as they are coming around on a pretty tight course. As we go through, and Squirkit on lap 2. Here comes Broth on lap 2. Gordo lap 2. Gordo overtakes Broth. Broth having a little bit of fumble up. Too much of commentator's curse. So we have Squirkit, Gordo, Eclipse in P4. P5 is Quad Boy, Melon in P6, and yourself number 1 in P7. All it takes is a little error, and that could send you backwards. That's why here in the YDSC we always talk about slow is smooth and smooth is fast. When these pilots learn their lines, the speed will come. Ooh, Broth goes down is enough for Eclipse to catch up. Not quite enough. Squirkit's still in P1, Gordo's still P2. Got Broth in P3, Eclipse P4, 5 is Quad Boy, 6 Melon, and yourself number 1 in 7. Ooh, is it enough? Eclipse in P4, Broth is having some fumble ups, and here comes Eclipse to try to take it over, but Broth is putting it back together as we have Squirkit in P1, takes P1, P2 Gordo, P3 Broth. Eclipse with not enough real estate to catch up to Broth. Eclipse about 10 gates ahead of Melon right now, and Melon's only a couple gates ahead of Quad Boy. Anything could happen right here. Eclipse takes P4. Melon has a little bit of fumble up. Quad Boy overtakes Melon just at the end. Then we have Melon in P6. This is going to jumble up the points. And yourself number 1 in P7 this time. So overall, we got, well, not overall, but for this round, we have Squirkit, P1. Gordo, we have in P2. P3 is Broth this time. P4 is Eclipse. P5 goes to Quad Boy. Right over Melon that takes P6. All right, pilots. One more, then we add them up, and we will see where the points stack up. All right, pilots. Take a deep breath, shake out your necks. Have a little bit of relaxation time as I add up these points. But you know how the first part is all nice and fast paced, super pressurized, because when you come to do it, we train like this in the simulator. So when you come to do it in real life, then it will be a lot easier. All right. Here we go. Goggles down, thumbs up, pilots.
Arm your quads as we go live on the tone in less than 5.
And we're off. We got Broth P1. Ooh, Squirk it right there. So we got Broth, Squirk it, Gordo, Melon. Ooh, yourself number 1 goes in 4th. Melon and yourself number 1 going back and forth right now. Followed by Quad Boy and Eclipse. Eclipse moving up to P6. Trying to keep it nice and smooth as we are coming around. So we got Broth, Gordo, Squirk it, Melon. Yourself number 1, Quad Boy and Eclipse. Anything could happen. Some of these areas would be mid-air central. I think we're gonna have to do this course IRL. Sounds like a good plan to me. We got Gordo taking over for a second in P1. Ooh, Gordo back on P1. So we got Gordo, Broth, Squirk it, Melon, Eclipse, Quad Boy, and yourself number 1. As we are coming around, Broth trying to get tighter and tighter without crashing. Only a gate behind Gordo right now. Broth trying to take it nice and tighter, catching up. Ooh, and Gordo still stays ahead. So we got Gordo and Broth battling it out, side by side. This is going to come down to the wire if these pilots still keep continuing to fly like this. As this blade to blade gets tighter and tighter. Ooh, we almost have Broth overtaken. Oh, and Gordo just over by milliseconds. Not even milliseconds, like hundredths of a millisecond. Gordo over Broth. Squirk it in 3rd. And we got Melon ahead of yourself number 1, followed by Eclipse and Quad Boy. And Melon only a couple gates, so we got Melon coming in. Yourself number 1 is only about 3 gates ahead. Eclipse can catch up. Only 1 gate and yourself number 1 this time in P5. P6 goes to Eclipse, meaning Quad Boy is going to be in P7 for this round. So, after this, we got Gordo in 1st. 2nd goes to Broth. 3rd goes to Squirk it. 4th goes to Melon. 5th goes to yourself number 1. 6 goes to Eclipse. And 7th goes to Quad Boy. Alright, pilots, shake it off. Grab a drink of water as I add up these points. Give me just a couple seconds and I will be right back. Some of these points are tight. All right. So this is how the points are going to work out. And then I'll tell you where these pilots lie when it comes to seating in the brackets. for those of you tuning in. So with 32 points in P7 goes to Quad Boy. With 31 points in P6, and these are the unofficial results, remember, goes to yourself number 1. Then for P5, with 25 points, we have Eclipse. With 22 points in P number 4, we have Melon. Then in P3, with 11 points, we have Gordo. P2 with 10 points, we have Squirkit. Then P1 with 9 points, we have Broth. All right. So, the way this works is P1 Broth is going to be automatically seeded into the A main. In the B main is going to be Squirkit. In the C main is going to be Gordo. And then in the D main is going to be Melon, Eclipse, yourself number 1, and Quad Boy. Now the way that this is going to work is these 4 pilots are going to keep going until one of those pilots gets 2 aces. For you of those who don't know what an ace is, that is a first place finish. Now the pilots do not have to get 2 first place in a row. It's just the first pilot to get first wins. Then what we'll do is we will end it and we will add up the points. Anybody with the same amount of points, we will go ahead and we will do a race off, because it will be from the D main. It will be the top 3 pilots that will move on to the C main and take on Gordo. All right, pilots. So, from the Academy of Holy Angels, in the D main, I have Melon. Coming from the Tiny Turbines, I have Eclipse. Coming from CEC in Colorado, I have yourself number 1. And from Wichita, Kansas, I have Quad Boy. All right, pilots. Remember, first pilot to 2 wins, and we add them up. Does not have to be in order. Here we go, pilots. Goggles down, thumbs up. And we're up. Eclipse with the whole shot, followed by yourself number 1, Melon, and Quad Boy. Melon working their way up to P2. Melon and Eclipse trading spots right now. Melon in P1, Eclipse in P2, yourself in P3, and Quad Boy in P4. You just do not want to be last. And anything could happen. These points can jumble up real quickly. Melon, yourself number 1 now. Quad Boy and Eclipse going back and forth for P3. After a little bit of a fumble up. Eclipse making up some time, catching up to yourself number 1. Right there on yourself number 1's tail. Right in the prop wind. They are battling it out side by side. Eclipse only about a half a gate behind yourself number 1. Eclipse overtakes yourself number 1. So it's Melon, who only has about a 2 gate lead over Eclipse. Yourself number 1 in P3, only about a gate and a half behind Eclipse right now. And then about 3 gates behind is Quad Boy. They're all on lap number 2, battling it out, not to be last. These battles will get tighter and tighter, fiercer and fiercer as the pilots go blade to blade. Clip's had a little bit of a fumble up, but not enough for yourself number 1 to catch up as of yet. Melon is almost done with lap number 3, but here comes Eclipse. Remember, just do not be last, pilots. We got Melon taking the first ace, followed by Eclipse in P2. P3 goes to yourself number 1, and then we will finish, and Quadboy finishes in P4. All right, pilots. So, if Melon gets another ace, we call it and we add up points. It's up to Eclipse, yourself number 1, or Quadboy to get an ace in order to have this thing move on. Here we go, pilots. Goggles down, thumbs up.
We go live on the tournament in less than 5.
Pilots are focusing in. And they're off. Eclipse with the whole shot. Ooh, yourself number 1 takes over there for a second. Eclipse having a little bit of a fumble up. Commentator's curse. We got Melon in P1, Eclipse in P2, Quadboy in P3. Oh, Quadboy now in P4 as yourself number 1 overtakes Quadboy. So we got Melon and Eclipse going back and forth. Eclipse in P1, Melon in P2. Ooh, Melon and Eclipse still going back and forth at it. Eclipse trying to say no. Oh, Eclipse goes right into the cage of doom. And yourself number 1 took over P1 right now. Melon back into P1. Yourself number 1 in P2. Quadboy P3. Eclipse P4. So they're coming around. Still only on lap number 2. A whole another lap to go after this. It's all about not finishing last. Melon's still in P1. About 8-ish gates ahead of Quadboy now in P2. Ooh, Eclipse and Quadboy going at it. Quadboy having a little bit of a hiccup. So we got Melon, Eclipse, Quadboy, and yourself number 1. Yourself number 1 battling Eclipse, does not want to be last. Still have Melon and Eclipse, P1 and P2. Yourself number 1 and P3. Not far behind. Ooh, Eclipse has a little bit of a fumble up. Could be enough for Quadboy to catch up. Quadboy is right behind Eclipse right now. Eclipse trying to keep it. Melon takes another ace and solidifies this round. It's up to Eclipse, Quadboy, and yourself number 1. And Eclipse taking P2. So those two will definitely move on. Quadboy this time in P3 and P4 is yourself number 1. So what that means is yourself number 1 and Quadboy both have 7 points. So they will be doing a 3-lap, 1-time head-to-head battle to see who moves on between yourself number 1 and Quadboy. And it all comes down to this. Alright, pilots. Quadboy from Wichita, Kansas, taking on yourself number 1 from CEC in Colorado. Which state will move on? Here we go, pilots. Goggles down, thumbs up. 3 laps, 1 winner. And we're off. Yourself number 1 with the whole shot, staying in the lead over Quadboy just by a little bit as they are battling it out back and forth, trying to get through this. Yourself number 1 only about a half a gate ahead of Quadboy. Pilots are under intense pressure all the way through every one of these pilots. It's all about controlling those nerves, taking deep breaths, and know no matter what happens, you got this. Go yourself number 1, still in P1. Oh, Quad Boy overtakes P1. Oh, Quad Boy's trying to stay ahead. Only about a half a gate ahead of yourself number 1. Now taking a little bit of a lead. Quad Boy trying to hold it together. These pilots still have another lap. Ooh, Quad Boy has a little bit of a fumble up. There goes yourself number 1 into P1. They are both on the same gate. Going back and forth. Yourself number 1 only about a half a gate ahead of Quad Boy. Quad Boy trying to take it nice and smooth, nice and tight. Learning all the dough stuff as these pilots are going back and forth. Have fun with all these pilots. Huge shout out, everybody watching. Huge shout out to all these pilots. They are amazing, not just in their flying, but their personality. Love having all these pilots around. Quad Boy taking over P1. Gaining a little bit ahead on yourself number 1. Now it's about an 8 to 9 gate lead. Quad Boy just has to keep it nice and smooth. And Quad Boy moves on to the C main. Wow, oh wow, that was a fun, epic battle. That was fun. So let me mark this green. So this way, when you look at your points, you know where it stands. All right. So with that being said, unfortunately, we say good night to yourself number 1 from CEC out in Colorado. Amazing pilot out there, working super hard. Amazing fun flying. All right, moving on to the C main. Now what that means for pilots is we are going to do the same exact thing as we did before. It's going to be a chase the ace. The first pilot to 2 wins will be moving on. We'll add them up and move on. So same as before, but this time we have from Wichita, Kansas, Quad Boy. Just taking on from the Tiny Turbines, Eclipse. From the Holy Angels, we have Melon. All taking on the number 3 seed overall from the Academy of Holy Angels, Gordo. All right, pilots. If you think this is exciting, definitely watch these pilots fly in real life. All right, here we go, pilots. I have Gordo, I have Eclipse, Melon, and Quad Boy. All right. It is a bad habit, and I do apologize, Eclipse. I race managed for a very long time, so I'm always like checking on things, and Eclipse always has it on point. They are awesome at it. Just force a habit. All right, here we go, pilots. Goggles down and thumbs up. Here is C main. Round number 1 is going to be Gordo, Melon, Eclipse, or Quad Boy that takes the first ace. And they are off. Eclipse with the whole shot, but Gordo quickly sneaks into first. So we got Gordo, Quad Boy, Melon, and Eclipse. It's all about staying nice and smooth, nice and tight. We always talk about a qualifying pace and a race pace. So for those of you out there, qualifying pace is fly as hard as you can and as smooth as you can until you break it. When you come to race pace, that's just slowing it down just by milliseconds, just a couple milliseconds. Make sure you are nice and tight, because what these pilots are doing as you start learning to fly, they are actually thinking 2 to 3 gates ahead, and that's how they figure out their lines. Is it going to be smoother to go wider through something to have the momentum carry, or at a certain area, is it going to be better to have it nice and tight? You can always check out our beginner courses where we teach you all that and how to fly. Start from the basics. You can go to fly.udronesports.org for more information, email us, or come to our super moderated Discord. All right, with that being said, we got Gordo in first, Melon in second, Eclipse in third, and Quad Boy in fourth. It's all about not finishing last. Who's going to get the first ace? Will it be our number 3 seed overall? Or will it be Melon, Eclipse, or Quad Boy working their way up? All these pilots are on lap number 3. Gordo only a couple more gates to go. With a nice sizable lead, and Gordo takes the first ace. Here comes Melon a few gates, but Eclipse is right on their tail as well. I should say they're battery leads, for those of you who know what a whoop looks like. And Melon takes P2 this time. Eclipse in P3, and that's going to put Quad Boy into P4. All right, pilots. So, Gordo has an ace. It's up to Melon, Eclipse, or Quad Boy to steal an ace away from Gordo, and we have this thing move on. Gordo gets another ace. We stop, we add up the points, and see if there's another race off. All right, pilots, here we go. Goggles down, thumbs up. We got Gordo, Melon, Eclipse, and Quad Boy. Not finish last. And we're off. We got Gordo with the whole shot, but Melon overtakes Gordo there for a quick second. Gordo comes back and takes P1, so we got Gordo, Melon, Eclipse, and Quad Boy. As they're trying to keep it together, trying to zone me out as well. Gordo only a couple gates ahead of Melon. Remember, it's always just about being millimeters off. You always want to be smooth on the sticks, just nice and smooth. No flicking or anything like that. And it's all about moving millimeters. Ooh, Gordo has a little bit of a fumble up. Is that enough for Melon to catch up? And it is not right now, but it closed the gap a little bit. We got Gordo, Melon, Eclipse, and Quad Boy. They are all spread out by a few gates. Gordo to Melon is about 7 to 8 gates. Eclipse roughly the same. And Quad Boy about 10 gates. Gordo on lap 3, Melon on lap 3. Here comes Eclipse on lap 3. And Quad Boy is coming on lap 3. Gordo only a few gates to go. And Gordo gets a second ace, and Gordo moves on. Eclipse has caught up to Melon. We're about a half a gate behind right now. Anything can happen. It's going to be Melon. Is it going to be Eclipse? Oh! As we're coming around, and Melon takes P2 again. That would bring Eclipse milliseconds, like tenths of milliseconds behind. And then Quad Boy in P4. So nothing changed up there. So once again, unfortunately, we have to say good night to another pilot, and this time we say good night to Quad Boy from Wichita, Kansas. Another amazing pilot out there who is always a pleasure to have around, and we look forward to a lot more. And also, while I'm gonna put you on the spot, Quad Boy, you need to qualify for Nationals. Plan on coming to Nationals on May 6th. You need to qualify. All right. So overall tonight, so far as the points are, Yourself number 1 in 7th. 6 goes to Quad Boy. And we have 2 more heats. We got the B main and the A main. And we'll find out. After the B main, we'll find out who goes on to the finals. Alright, so we're going to do another Chase the Ace in the B main. First pilot to 2 wins. We have Eclipse from the Tiny Turbines. We have Melon from the Academy of Holy Angels. Also from the Academy of Holy Angels, Gordo. These 3 pilots will be taking on the number 2 seed of Squirkit from the Tiny Turbines. This is where it starts to show if the pilots have been keeping their fingers warm or if they have gotten cold. Alright, pilots. This is going to be Squirkit, Gordo, Melon, or Eclipse. Here we go, pilots. Goggles down, thumbs up. Round 1 of our B main. Who is going to grab that first ace? Will it be Squirkit? Will it be Gordo, Melon, or Eclipse? Here we go. And we're off. We have Squirkit with a whole shot, followed by Gordo quickly overtakes. Gordo and Squirkit side by side. Eclipse right there, Melon right there. They are all bunched up like fireflies, sparkling through the night. Squirkit and Gordo still battling it out, showing their dominance. Sarah coming. Oh, Gordo having a little bit of a mishap, but not enough for Squirkit to catch that half of a gate. Gordo keeping it nice and tight. About a gate ahead of Squirkit. Squirkit is zoning in. Melon and Eclipse battling it out back there. Melon in P3, Eclipse now in P4. Gordo and Squirkit right on top of each other. Squirkit overtakes. Here they come on lap number 3. Gordo overtaking Squirkit. Squirkit overtaking Gordo. Gordo having a little bit of a fumble up. Squirkit has a little bit of a lead now. It's all about not finishing last. Ooh, Gordo gets caught up on some gates, giving a little bit of real estate to Squirkit, but will it be enough? Or will Squirkit have a little bit of a fumble up? We will find out as they are going around. Oh, Gordo crashes right into the mesh of doom, even opening the door more for Squirkit. Squirkit just has to keep it nice and smooth. Oh, and Squirkit takes the first ace, and here comes Gordo. Gordo coming around, taking P2. Now it's up to Melon and Eclipse to battle it out right now, which it looks like. Eclipse comes back. Melon's still in P3, but is it enough, or will Melon? Nope, Melon gets P3 this time over Eclipse. So Squirkit with the first ace. One more ace for her, and we call it. It's up to Gordo in P2, Melon P3, or Eclipse in P4 to grab an ace and have this thing go on. Alright, pilots, here we go. Goggles down, thumbs up. Will Squirkit take another ace, or will Gordo, Melon, or Eclipse take the ace and have this thing continue on? Here we go. And we're off. Eclipse with the whole shot that time. Has a little bit of a fumble up, putting Gordo, and then Squirkit quickly overtakes Gordo. So Squirkit, Gordo, Eclipse. Oh, Gordo overtakes Squirkit as they are battling side by side right now. We got Squirkit back in P1. Gordo. So hard because they are just on top of each other. We would have had so many mid-airs if this was in real life right now. But we got Squirkit, Gordo, Melon, and Eclipse. They are all bunched up. Only about anywhere from a half a gate to 2 gates back, these pilots. So any little slip up, any little mishap, and that could be all they wrote. Here we go. Squirkit's still in the lead. Only a couple gates ahead of Gordo right now. All she needs to do is keep it nice and smooth. Squirkit on lap number 3. Here comes... Oh, Squirkit has a little bit of a fumble up. Here comes Gordo. Gordo closing that gap. As Squirket and Gordo. Gordo is only about a half a gate behind now. That's how quickly this changes in a matter of milliseconds. So pilots need to always remember it's not over until it is over. Squirket. Few gates left. Will it be enough? And Squirket solidifies, moving on into the finale in P1. P2 goes to Gordo, and Gordo moves on to the finals. Now it's between Melon and Eclipse. Oh, Melon just solidified their spot over Eclipse, and nothing changed there. So this time we do have to say goodnight to another pilot, and unfortunately that is goodnight to Eclipse, another amazing, awesome pilot from the Tiny Turbines. Love having them around. They are such a joy to be around. And yes, we do have fun racing here, but this YDSC family is far from none. It's all about the camaraderie, even going out to races. You know, and you look at other sports out there and you think, oh, this person is so fast, or, you know, it's kind of like watching a sport. You can't just go up to the other team and ask for their playbook, but any one of these pilots, and even in other, you know, events out there and stuff, they will bend over backwards to help you out in any way, shape, or form. And I should say, as long as they're not helping somebody else or flying in a heat. But they will bend over backwards to help, because they would rather help you out and help you become better, or not just because these break, you know, they'll break a lot, and there's a lot to do and a lot to diagnose, and that's why it's all, you know, part of STEM and stuff. And we teach, you know, pilots to think outside the box and different things to do. These pilots learn and pass it on, and they would rather have a pilot actually fly again, compete against in a heat and beat them, as opposed to they won because of another pilot having a drone down. I've seen numerous times that the fastest of these fast pilots out here will bend over backwards and be like, hey, you can just use my other quad I have. Like, don't worry about it. So, huge shout out to all the pilots out there. Every last one of them, even the ones who aren't here tonight due to other things that ended up coming up, but they are all amazing. And I'm so lucky and proud to be part with them. All right. Here we go, pilots. Pilots aren't used to me talking a lot. They would rather be flying. But I do have to say stuff like that because I am very thankful of every one of you. And Marty McFlyin and Joel Netizen01 out there for starting up the YDSC and being able to make everything possible. Huge shout out. All right, without further ado, back to the pilots. We have Squirket from the Tiny Turbines taking on Gordo from the Academy of Holy Angels. Also taking on Melon from the Academy of Holy Angels. And they are all taking on the #1 seed overall, only by a couple points, is Broth. So we got the top 4 who qualified overall, who worked their way up and onto the A main. Now for this A main, it's going to work just a little bit different. We do, in our final round, we do a Super Chase the Ace. Super Chase is the same thing as before. However, we go until one pilot wins 3 times. So we could be doing a lot or not a lot. All right. Here we go, pilots. Get ready. Deep breaths. Here we go. Goggles down, thumbs up. Whenever I say goggles down, thumbs up, it's just like in real life for all those out there. Goggles down, they put their goggles down, and thumbs up means they have good video. And we are off. We have Broth with a whole shot, but Gordo quickly overtakes Broth. Broth and Gordo going back and forth. Squirk it right there. Squirk in P2 and 3. And Melon just watching all of this unfold, only about a gate behind the rest of them. So right now we got Broth in P1, Squirk at P2, Gordo P3, and Melon P4. Ooh, Gordo having a little bit of a fumble up. Is it enough for Melon to catch up? Not as of yet. As Gordo quickly recovers. We still have Broth only about a gate ahead over Squirkit. Gordo's right there about a gate and a half. No, Gordo catches up. That's why I was stuttering there for a minute. Gordo taking P2 right now. Squirkit right there on their tail after the little bit of fumble up. As these pilots are pushing it, and Melon in P4. Broth is on lap number 3. Here comes Gordo on lap number 3. Squirk is on lap number 3 as well. And Gordo and Melon recovering, coming around, coming on lap number 3. Got Broth keeping it nice and smooth. Ooh, Gordo having a little bit of another fumble up. Squirkit overtakes P2. This is for all the marbles. So we got Broth, Squirkit, Gordo, and Melon. Broth takes the first ace, showing their dominance over Squirkit in P2. Gordo right there in P3. And here comes Melon in P4. Depending on the way that these pilots finish tonight and their overall points, we'll have them seated. Everybody is qualified for playoff round number 1, but this is how the seating will work for that. All right, pilots. Deep breath. You know, we start slowing things down just a little bit when it comes to as we move on and on. Stretch it out for a second. Take some nice, slow, deep breaths. Zone me out. This is just another day of practice. All right, pilots, here we go. Goggles down, thumbs up. We got Broth with an ace. Squirkit, Gordo, and Melon. Here we go. And we're off. Broth with the whole shot, but Squirkit quickly overtakes and falls back by only a hair. We got Gordo in P1, Broth in P2, Melon in P3, Squirkit in P4. Remember, it is the first pilot to 3 wins. Broth quickly overtakes P1. We got Broth, Gordo, Squirkit, and Melon. So they are trading spots. Gordo had to go back and make that up. Giving Squirkit enough time to start closing the gap as Gordo starts messing up a little bit. Trying to keep it nice and smooth. We got Broth in P1, Gordo right there in P2, Squirkit in P3, and Melon in P4. Broth is only about a gate and a half to maybe 2-ish gates ahead of Gordo. Squirkit is only about 2 gates behind Gordo right now. Melon is falling a little bit behind, trying to keep it together. Broth is on lap number 3, Gordo on lap number 3. Here comes Squirkit on lap number 3. So they're all battling it out. Ooh. Coming around. Broth trying to keep it nice and smooth. About 2.5 gates ahead of Gordo right now. Trying to come and solidify this. And we have Broth with the second ace, but here comes Gordo in P2. Squirkit had a little bit of a fumble up. And now making P3 this time. And Melon in P4. This is not, it looks like a simplistic course, but it is not. Remember, depending on how the points fall, we will be adding them up and doing any race-offs as well. Right now, we have Broth with 2 aces. it's up to Broth to take the final ace. But if Squirkit, Gordo, or Melon can take an ace, we move this on. Right now, Squirkit and Gordo are tied in points with 5 points apiece, and Melon has 8 points. Let's see how this plays out. Here we go, pilots. Goggles down, thumbs up. And we're off. Squirkit takes a whole shot, but Gordo quickly takes over. And Broth back in P1. Ooh, Broth goes back to P3. Squirkit and Gordo trade spots. Broth having a little bit of a fumble up. So right now we got Gordo. Squirkit and Gordo still going back and forth. So those two, P1, P2, Broth P3, Melon P4. It is up to them to not have Broth finish P1 again so we can make this go on. But Broth can catch up. Somehow overtake, and we solidify it. Broth right on their tail, as we got Squirkit, Gordo, and Broth. Ooh, Broth going up to P1 and back down to P2. Squirkit said, I think not. But Broth taking it nice and tight. And we have a Broth in P1 on lap 3, but Broth has a fumble up. And there goes Squirkit back in P1. So we got Squirkit, Broth, Gordo, and Melon. They are still bunched up. Squirkit only about a gate and a half ahead of Broth right now. But Broth has skills, and Broth knows how to take things nice and Gordo P3 and Melon P4. Sorry, I was looking down, starting to enter these scores. Oh my Lanta. And we go on. Shake it out, pilots. Shake it out. Like I said, anything can happen. All right, pilots. Deep breath, deep breath. Just giving you a little bit of time to cool off here. All right. We've got Broth with 2 aces. Squirkit with 1 ace. Still up to Squirkit, Gordo, or Melon to grab an ace to move this on. If Broth grabs this ace this time, though, we will add up points. Here we go, pilots. Broth with 2 aces. Squirkit with an ace. Goggles down. Thumbs up. Here we go, pilots. Will this be it, or will we go on again? And we're off. We got Squirkit with the whole shot, but Gordo quickly takes over P1. Broth having a little bit of fumble up. Goes down to P3. Same with Squirkit and P4. So we got Gordo, Broth, Melon, and Squirkit. It's always fun watching these pilots battle it out both in the sim and in real life. They go hard like this in real life as well. Gordo's still in P1. Broth in P2. Oh, Broth overtakes P1. It's all up to Broth to try to keep that lead and to keep it nice and smooth and not have any type of little fumble up as they are coming around, because Gordo is right on their tail. Squirkit right there as well. And Melon in P4. Broth trying to hold it together, only about a gate and a half ahead of Gordo. Broth on lap 3. Gordo on lap 3. Broth has a little bit of a fumble up. Squirkit moving on to P2 now. Closing that gap. Kaproff trying to keep it down in these final gates, but Squirkit is catching up with a vengeance. She is on a mission. Will Broff keep it together? We will find out. And Broff is your P1 overall winner. P2, not quite overall yet because I didn't add up the points, but P2 goes to Squirkit, Gordo in P3, and Melon in P4. So we know automatically Broff is our champion for the night. P4 goes to Melon. Now it's between Squirkit and Gordo. 1 second to add these up. All right. So P4 overall goes to Melon. P3 with 11 points goes to Gordo. And with 8 points, P2 goes to Squirkit. And overall, with 3 aces, it goes to Broff. Let me put these up here, pilots. So this way you can see and follow up. And I will add these up right after the stream, and then we will fill everybody in on the stream next week. These points are getting super tight. All right. Huge shout out, amazing flying, all pilots. Melon being P4 tonight, Gordo in P3, Squirkit in P2, and Broff in P1. We will be streaming next week right here on Twitch at 6 p.m. Central next Thursday, March 2nd. And then our next in real life races will be held right here in Minnesota on March 18th and March 25th. But you can also tune in. Those will be at 10:30 a.m. Central Time, which will also be live streamed on Twitch. Once again, thank you everybody for watching. But we are sponsored by NCAT, the National Center for Autonomous Technologies. We are also powered by LeagueOS. Remember, if you're looking for an esports league or to get one started, you can go to leagueos.gg. That is leagueos.gg. Grab their Discord link, and they'll be able to get you started. If you are looking to fly, you can reach out via email or coming straight, create a free account, and then you can get your Discord linked up. And you can go to fly.youthdronesports.org for more information. That's fly.youthdronesports.org for more information. Once again, I am your host, Sour Power, with the YDSC, the Youth Drone Sports Championship. In the production booth, huge shout out to Shy Dragon with Dragon's Eye View Media. Another huge shout out, racing and race managing, not an easy thing to accomplish, but a huge shout out to Eclipse. Everybody, once again, thank you for watching. Tune in next week. We are going to have more pilots here. It's going to be playoff number 1. You will not want to miss these battles. These epic blade-to-blade battles going on. Y'all have a wonderful night, and we'll see you next Thursday, 6 p.m. Central.